Dan here. D Speed Shop. 57 Chevrolet. Shocker. I think I got one more video on this pile before I'm taking a break from it. I'm ready to work on that Nomad a little bit, do something a little bit different. Anywho, the stuff we got to work on. Welding. I haven't even edited the video yet, but I can't wait to hear what you guys are going to think about the plan of this thing. I'm just going to clear coat it. Car's on the table. We're going to clear coat the whole thing, like right over the moss. I can't wait to do that. Clickbait. Anyway, I also ordered a tunnel ram instead of carburetors for it. I know, but you know what's a little Christmas present to myself. So we've blown the budget, but ultimately, if you want to be cheap, the driveline, the motor, that's irrelevant. The big money is big money is in the rest of the car and all that we're doing, right? The big money's the floor pan. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I have to finish welding the back section of the floor pan. We have to finish up a little bit in the fronts, and then I got to finish that one. What do I gotta do over there? Something over there. Oh, the rocker needs to be kind of finished up, and I think there's a little bit of rot on both sides. I have to just put a little piece of metal in there. Nothing too serious. This thing is very sturdy, and all the structural stuff taken care of. Do that. There's no light in here, but obviously with no wheel tubs, well, I want to get those wheel tubs tackled, and I think I got to fill in the spare tire well in the trunk, so we'll get those taken care of. Get that busted in the next couple of days. I'm hoping I can do it in the next 2 days, and then I'm done with the welding. And I know if I go do something else, it's going to be even more dreadful to come back and do this welding, right? So this right here, well, not maybe this level, but this is where you get burnt out on cars, and that's where I feel I am. I am burnt out on this thing, but I'm going to power through, take a break, so when I do get to come back, it's going to be fun stuff. You know, put the column in, maybe put I have carpet for this thing, put a set of seats in it, put the glass in, tunnel ram arm, carburetors on, make it look like a car, and then it's like, when you're not bolting stuff together, it really feels like you've accomplished something. When you're endlessly cutting, welding, and grinding, this car really hasn't changed in the last probably couple of videos from the outside, like from this view, but it really is changing, you know, for being sturdy and closer being to its first test drive. But it's very frustrating, very boring, and I'm tired of it. Anyway, let's set the camera up. I'm going to buzz that in real quick. Then we'll sit over there. We'll get the rockers in. We'll see what we have to do there with a little bit of metal. It does have this little brace right here, one on each side that I did kind of chop the bottom a few inches out because it was rotten. We'll have to weld something in there just to give it a little bit more sturdiness, even though it's not bad. Get that all taken care of. And then we'll probably start working on the wheel tubs. I think this cross section here, I'm going to cut this right out. It's all bent for one. I don't know how the hell that happens. It's bent, it's broken off on that side. Anyways, we'll get that right out of it and see what we can get in there. Now, realistically, I mean, 2-lane blacktop didn't have that in there, and this is basically a junky 57 Chevy, so it doesn't need it, but don't worry. I'll tack it back in, safety police. Let's get the camera set up, get some tunes rolling, and ultimately weld for the next couple hours of my life. Then it's bedtime, so that's something to look forward to. not a lot of welding. So we got the whole back strip taken care of. So I did the floor on that side. That whole floor is done, the toe boards. I welded in all the plug welds. So I did a little funny. I plug welded. I also kind of welded a little on top. I mean, I don't know. It's fine. A little extra weld, never hurt anybody. We got that sill plate done, and then I made a couple little pieces. They're a little bit of a cheat since the kind of inside panel is a little rotten to kind of weld to. So the way it's supposed to go, it's supposed to have like a C channel where the floor kind of goes down, comes back up, and it pinches together. And the back, it was there, but it's terrible lighting. It was kind of bad. I just welded a piece on top, welded it across there. It's fine. Carpet covers it. It's just as strong. And I'm lazy. I should have fixed that. Well, if you really cared, you fixed it a while ago. But now, we're going to do, I got to get my light. It's dead. I just cut a strip of, steel. So I'm going to just kind of plate that over, fold it over. We'll cut it. And I'll just weld it to the floor, and that is what's going to give us a little bit more strength here. You can see it's got a little bit of flop to it. I welded a little section in here, so that's all taken care of. I welded another little piece in, but again, whatever. So that'll be that, and then it's wheel tub time. So yeah, let's set the camera up. I'll kind of talk through doing one of these. It should be fine. Pretty simple stuff. Crank the welder up so it's got nice penetration in there, and yeah, this car she's sturdy. I don't know if these hardtops have a little bit of flex to them anyways. I mean, I've welded everything to everything. I can't imagine what else it's going to hold. It does have some leverage in there. It's just going to kind of move a little. So I guess we'll see. It's like, when you see like a dragster in slow motion, they're just like, I mean, that's how hardtop tri-5s are. I'm used to the post. Gets everything nice and sturdy. But that being said, once I weld this on there, I might really change the game. But that's as much welding as I can do. I know it'd probably be nicer to be a little closer, but I've been burning through GoPro friggin' lenses, and they don't give those things away, as it turns out. So I'm just gonna zip this off right quick, give it a little eyeball, fold it there. So thumb marks the spot. Alright, well, we're done welding inside. We got the deck lid off, so we'll have to figure that out. There's no hinges on this thing, like, at all no hinges. Awesome. Anyway, so these are the Extendo wheel tub deals that came with this thing. So that was a pretty good, good little setup. Again, somebody at who knows when, 70s or 80s or early 90s, whatever it was, when they cut this car up, they cut the tubs out and they started to crudely do something. Now, typically, I've seen a few guys do it where this is the factory tub and you would just cut it down the center, whatever you do, you move it over, you'd weld it in, or in this case, they self-tapered it or whatever the heck they did, and you just run a strip down the center of probably, 2-3 inches, whatever it is, you weld it over top, seam seal it, and you're done. So that's fine. Now, these tubs here, in theory, you basically do the same thing. You cut probably so it's like maybe an inch out. They have a little lip like that. Like or step, I should say, whatever you want to call it. Flange is the word I'm looking for. And we'll fit it over, and I guess maybe just plug weld it. That's what I'm thinking we're gonna do. So it's gonna be kind of ugly. I mean, this would be nice to do on a hoist and stuff like that, and maybe have the diff right out and all that. But we don't have those options, so we're gonna suffer ahead. This was cut right out, but it looks like it's pretty much ready to go. The panel I think it's like 7.5, almost 8 inches. And when I measured from the lip of the remaining pan we have to about the center is kind of 6.5, 7. So we should be pretty okay. I assume this is just going to line up with the trunk floor, you know, and we're going to go ahead and weld it in. Pretty simple stuff. This thing, again, it has had the wheel well, spare tire well taken out. Well, I guys put a flat piece over it. In the past, I did one, I just cut a little section out of here, and I might do that because I do have actually a tub in the basement. You know, you never throw out Tri-5 bits. There's a little hair in the lens. So if I do that, we can kind of cut it out, maybe box it. Then we could put like a space saver spare in there, or you can dump some tools, whatever the heck you want. I mean, it's free space. The other thing you can do, so Tri-5 Chevy, obviously, the gas tank is offset, so guys put a big tank in there, but whatever. That's what we're going to take care of. So I think the next step is going to be jack it up, jack the body up, I should say, get these big honking tires out, and just see if these will fit. I'll probably cut that structure out. It is bent to hell. We'll get that cut out, and we'll just kind of get these test fit rough in there. And if we're happy with it, we'll leave it for tonight, because I'm kind of done welding. It's been like 2 hours of ugly welding. I know it probably wasn't a whole lot of footage, but I'm just so burnt out on it. And get it together. These tubs should look like pretty nice. I mean, they're a nice piece. So I don't know what someone paid for these, but luckily I didn't have to. This side needs a lot more cleaning up, and then the rest of the trunk floor, I mean, it's got a little beat, needs some seam sealing, but it's nice. It's going to look real good. This car is really coming together. I mean, I gotta say, for how stripped down and far apart it was to go back together, it's pretty nice to see. I'm really excited about it. I really want to put glass in. Like, it's just driving me nuts. But jack it up, pull a wheel, and see where we end up with tonight. Okay, so bit of screwing around. I had to trim out just a little bit more of the wheel well to get the tire out. It's a big tire. I have never done a mini tub kit like this before. I've never mini tubbed anything. I've only just radius wheeled and gone out. I have installed a relocation kit before, which really doesn't get you a whole lot more room. The only reason I did it was all the purchase were cut off a frame, and I thought, try it out and see what happens. Realistically, it was probably cheaper, the same price, just to do that and try and find parts. Anyway, now we're going to be able to do the whole thing. So I jammed the tub in. Very crude. I don't know what it looks to you guys on cam here, but honestly, I think it's a pretty well fitting piece. The floor has been a little gacked there. We'll have to adjust. But overall, it fits not bad. The front is holding us up a little bit, but that is simply because the floor pan, hang on, you know what, we'll get, I put this in and I forgot. I used this so I couldn't ever run out of battery power. And yet, here I was waiting for a battery to charge. Idiot. Anyway, let's hang this hand burner up. So the issue running into the floor has a curvature, much like that side, which will need to be elongated, probably a couple inches, I would assume. You know, have it start there and run its way down. So I'm going to trim that out. That will let us get the tub right up against the frame. I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to cut this piece out so I get right in there. We should probably trim up the floor and make sure it's as straight as it can be right on top of the frame. No instructions with this. Once we get that kind of locked into place or over, I can tack it or hold it or whatever. This can then fit over whatever we have for an existing wheel tub. I can trace it, take it all back out, and then realistically, we have this little step. So whatever I traced, if I go in, you know, an inch or whatever that's going to be, I'll then zip cut that out, drill a bunch of holes in it. Then it can be plug welded from the bottom. We can seam weld it on the top side. And I mean, I don't think it's solid welded, just a bunch of tacks or a few little stitches. Seam seal it and it's in, like very simple. There is some rot in the front here. Behind this, there's no metal, so I'll have to put a piece in there. And that side's actually, well, I wouldn't say better shape, but different shape. And then we've got to figure out the back, but I mean, little hammer and welding, we should be able to do some screwing around. So I think I'll get this one, we'll play with it tonight. We'll get it kind of fit, at least as much as I think I can, and then we'll sleep on it. Because if it doesn't go well, in my experience, taking a break, come back out tomorrow after work, have a little bit of time to think overnight, you know, maybe I'll come up with something differently. Or I'll just keep struggling and bang her together. But I'd really like to get this in, get that welded, I can clean up everything else, and then we could roll out the literally red carpet. No, I put black carpet in, who are we kidding? And I have white seats. We could like throw an interior in this thing tomorrow afternoon after I get these wheel tubs in, because it'll go so easy, I'm sure. All right, let's cut this garbage out. These freaking wheel tubs are awesome. Like, man, they fit pretty good. I will have to make a little sliver piece that fits, you know, around there, which is fine. They take, like, there was all rotten. I only got to build just a little tiny 2-inch strip, which I can weld. That's hot. On the back side, I cut those 2 braces out. This little centerpiece stayed in, and you just kind of push it down. So that's basically lined up. Like, everything just kind of fit there. This is so unbelievably sturdy now. I can't believe it. On the back side, this wheel tub, I mean, it fits mint. Again, because this is all butcher, I'll have to, you know, cut that out, make like a nice little piece to fit in, and seam seal it. It has to drop down just a little bit. Underneath, I can, you know, again, I'll have to trace and cut, and I mean, plug weld in. I was kind of putting these wheel tubs off because I've never done it before. I was like, it looks like an ugly job, and I hate wheel well work, especially when the quarters are on. But in this case, it's almost irrelevant. That's 20 minutes I have in this thing, so I don't know what these would cost if you had to buy them, but if you had rotten out wheel tubs, which do happen in these Tri-5s actually fairly regularly, I mean, this is just easy to do. I'm sure they make a stock one, but to cut them out, put them in. And then we're gonna have all this kind of trunk material. So if we want to use like the same grade of steel to make a little patch in there, we can. But yeah, we'll end up plug welding it around the top. We'll give her a few stitches along the side and then seam seal it. I mean, Tri-5s, well, they're missing out, but they're not shy on the seam sealer in the trunk. So it'll be like basically factory, weld those braces in. I can get that done tomorrow, no problem. Jinx, hopefully I don't screw that up, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. We can round out the front of the wheel tub, just give it a nice little shape so it's good. Then a pile of grinding, maybe a little bit of black paint, and like, wow, it's a frickin' car. And that's awesome. I like literally can't get over this, how much strength that little brace added. Them Chevrolet engineers, eh? Come on. That's mint. For how, I'm still amazed at how much this car was just sitting around as a body and bent, and the quarter panels are all sacked out, and I mean, all this stuff. Like that back brace was all bent. Like, the fact that this car is still pretty straight, real testament, especially being a hardtop. I am amazed. So yeah, I don't know. Still not super motivated. Welding sucks. But at least this is just going to be, you know, the ugly welding's done. So a night of sleep, a day of work, and I'll feel super motivated to be out there, and then we'll put a pan in the back. Yeah, I'm excited. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. New day. I found this in the basement, so we can make that fit. Obviously, it's going to hit the pocket kit. What I'm thinking is I'll do a wheel tub first, but just cut it here, cut it there, you know, pie it over, fill it in. It should fit just fine. Yeah, that's the plan. Let's get set up and do these wheel tubs. I didn't have any grandiose ideas yesterday, so cut, tack, fit, weld, grind, all that. I'd like to get both these in. Toot sweet. Yeah, so let's get after it. I guess I'll just kind of... Well, I'll set the camera up. I'm gonna cut on the inside, or mark on the inside. Cut whatever I have to do. Take these tubs out, clean them up, drill a few holes for some plug welds, and get them in there. There's zero load on it. They're not like they're super structural, I don't believe, but we'll stitch her in there pretty good so she's strong, but I think we're fine. Well, went about as expected. Immediately spilled my coffee exactly where I was working, so win. I got we're right back into the kind of situation we were. It does fit a little bit better. I got just a couple of tack welds in there. As we can see, we've got some filling to do, but not too shabby. Underneath, I'll just kind of show you. It needs a little bit of pry bar work as we're kind of welding. But we got her in there. So up at the front, I drilled a bunch of holes, all worked out great. As we went around here, just the way it had been previously trimmed, they didn't quite line up, but we can just kind of weld on the side and it'll be just fine. I mean, it basically lines up perfect there. A little stamping isn't quite where it should be, but it's good. We're right up against the frame, that's the big thing. Up against the frame there, we may have to give this a Schwaxky in, but I mean, once it's all welded, that'll stretch, and then we can put any size freaking tire we want in this thing, basically. So let's get the camera set up. We'll get that all welded in. Yeah, fun. Okay, tub's all in, stitched in. It's She ain't going nowhere. Now we have to do is fit this wheel tub in, or spare tire tub. And it's supposed to fit right around here, right flush with the frame. But now because we have this extra little bit here of the frame location kit, she ain't gonna. So the front fits fine. You can see it almost fits there, but not quite. So we'll mark. That's where it's gonna be. Now, obviously we have to let some room for the travel of the suspension to go. So I figure we'll kind of just do something like here, like maybe there. If I just slice that down, we fold it in, kind of start welding it back together. First, I'm gonna clean this up. I should probably bend this all back, just so there's something for it to weld to. Should be a pretty simple little project. All right, let's make this happen. Alright, so this is kind of crudely in there. Unfortunately, I don't know if I took this out or someone else, but drilled a pile of holes in it, which is going to be a pain to weld. So I think we'll just kind of spot it in there, and that'll be seam sealed in. This, we have to build a top to it, trim it up, whatever we have to do. But you can see now we have room in the suspension to move. Damn it. So that's fine. I mean, it looks a little goofy for sure, but ultimately we still have that well of space, and yeah, I don't know. I like it. So now we have to work on this side. This is just kind of, I think, somebody's like literally, do you know how it's an old build? Flathead screws. Like she's old. So I think I'll have to probably take the wheel off that side, obviously, and start fitting that well in. It should be fun, but a little remake of what we just did. This one looks like it was done slightly different than that side. I don't know if it's better or worse or not, but it's different. So we'll get it out, see what we end up with, and hopefully that new one will just kind of go in. Same process, trim, plug weld until it's kind of in there. I think that's where I'm going to take a little break once I get that to that level, which will still be like an hour and a half from now, but it's good to have goals. Look forward to taking a break. Sucks. This car is cool. It's kind of like, it reminds me of, it's like an old school roadkill car, but done to a level where you can actually kind of drive it. Like, it has that look, but and kind of, well, it should have some reliability. Anyway, so this is what was in there, and this is like the old school way of doing it. So they would have split the wheel tub, and they were going to widen it. Now what they did was they folded up the floor, so that's about how much width we're going to add. And then they were self-tapping it in there, which we're not going to do. The way they folded it up was right at the frame, as you can see there, which the other side was the same. So we're going to trim that out. So essentially, the new tub fits right up against the frame, then that welds it to the floor we have trimmed out. Underneath, I now know where to trim based on that one. Well, actually, we could probably take a measurement and just make sure it's correcto and kind of feed it in there. So this one should just be a kind of a 1 or 2 times in and out, and we're done. I got a little bit of trimming to do up in there in the front of the wheel, some rust, so we'll cut that out. But this one should go in. Ow! Ah, the fins. Ow! Should go in pretty good. This one, again, they hadn't finished cutting on this side, so I'll have to do a little bit more. Versus that side was just like, went to it with an axe. So, should be fine. We'll get that done, we'll get it welded in. I think I'm going to take a break. Then, I want to, well, yeah, I probably will. Then I'm just going to finish up the front of the wheel tubs, get those welded and seam sealed, let all that dry. We can grind all the welds, you know, take a bit of a break, and then we'll just slap some carpet in this thing. Like, it should go pretty quick. We do got to weld this brace and all that back in, but that's super, all simple stuff. But everything that's simple does take time. Yeah, I don't know if I'll set the camera up. I'm sure it's probably, I'm working in a wheel well. There's nothing really to see. I need my camera guy out here, but I'll come back a few times and show you where I'm at. Thanks for watching. Little update. Everything is all kind of trimmed out there. I have the new panel kind of cleaned up and ready to go in. I just kind of eyeballed, so we have about the same amount of material side to side. So we'll get that put in there. I think what I'm actually going to do, instead of drilling holes, I'm just going to weld, like lap weld it and just weld the seam. So I'll get in there and clean that up just a little bit with the grinder. I figured I'd show you this. That right there, so it's tape on it. So it's right at 16 inches. So from the frame rail to basically the wheel tub, or the fender, quarter panel, whoa, I'm getting there, 16 inches. So you can for sure fit, I mean, a 15-inch tire with the proper backspace rim will fit on this car with just by moving the leaf springs and putting these wheel tubs in. So not a lot of money. People are asking what these wheel tubs cost or where I got them from. I don't know because they came with it, but I mean, I don't know, a few $100 maybe, maybe more. And I think the pocket kit was $200-300. So I mean, let's just say it's $600-700 on the high side. But you can do this, and you can do the pocket kit underneath. I did it once. It's much easier to have the frame upside down. Realizing a lot of people aren't doing that, but if you have your runner driver car, you can for sure do it. You know, do it on the car, and then this, I mean, you have to take the interior out, but it's pretty simple, and you can do as nice or as ugly of a job as you want. Obviously, I'm lap welding it versus having it butt up, but I mean, I don't know. I think it looks fine, and once it's undercoated and all that, you'll be good. A couple guys that sent me pictures. They'd done it back at the end, like body worked and painted the trunk, like, oh my god, nice. But if you're just trying to make a ratty hot rod or put a big tire in one of these Tri-5s, and I know they do it for like Chevelles and all that sort of stuff, and a lot of those ones you have to cut into the frame and they'll like box the frame and all sorts of stuff like that. So yet another reason Tri-5s are friggin' awesome. A 15-inch tire by a pocket kit and a set of wheel tubs. Like, come on. And god, Tri-5s look good with big tires on them. Anyway, I'm going to get to fitting this. This is all just blindly kind of cut, so I have to trim some of those things. I left it on the thick side. Obviously, you can see there's a lot more material sticking out than is, used there. But if we're just lap welding, who really cares? So I'll get to fitting and, see where we end up. Status update. This side fits way nicer. I feel like Lucky from Hot Rod Garage. See, you can't hardly see any light through there. All that was already pre-cut on the black floor. It's fitting pretty much perfect, so that's good. We'll have to add just a little bit in there. Or what I'll probably do is smack the tub in with a hammer. Now it's welded. Well, once it's welded, it'll kind of form in. I'm going to do that on the other side too. Box out the front. So instead of it being like a round kind of tub, it'll be a little more boxy kind of at the back, but it'll be fine. The back here fits good. Obviously, this was already kind of pre-cut. I just marked that. So if I cut that out, it should just fall into place. There's about 1 inch of gap there. So drop that down, wire wheel that up so it's clean, easy to weld to. And that tub's going to fit real easy. Like, real easy. Hopefully I don't jinx myself, but we should be all tight around there. Easy to just kind of like stitch weld it in. Underneath, same idea. Bzzzt. And we're dialed. Man, looks cool. I'm really excited about it. So I'm gonna get trimming on that and yeah, see what we end up with. But should we look at that dialed? Knock the front out. Take a break. And then both sides have the same thing, but this little section there, tri-pipes always rot that out. Four doors, the dog legs rot out and all that. Obviously, you know, the wheels just tossing stuff there. That's why the rockers, you know, get all junky. And what are you gonna do? Just kind of the way it is. So let's get back to it. This side turned out frickin' mint. I will say, it looks like it's a little further over, but I think this one was all kind of butchered. It was kind of dealt with the hand we were given on that, and this one I got to cut in and professionally install. Obviously I butchered this. That was clearly not great, but we'll have to cut that out and cut that little section out there and fill it in. But we have all this good metal right there. But the big thing is around the top side, it fits. Come on, come on, that's good. That's pretty minty. So I think that's obviously where it wants to be. So that worked out good. Now what I'm probably gonna do is same on the other side. I end up kind of beating out the hammer a little. So that one has a lot more gappiness to go, but we're just gonna go ahead and send it and knock her over. No one's ever gonna see it. And you can always put a bigger tire on. So we get that dialed, get that section in. I think it's gonna be time for a quick break because I've had it. Then I just gotta build two little strips to fill in that hole on each side, which again, we're just gonna kind of, whatever, lap it, plug it in there, and then clean that all up. Then it's seam sealer time. I do have to kind of like bend this up to get, you know, back in there and seam seal it all nice. We don't want any road grime getting in this fine hot rod. I kind of want to put a nice interior in it, you know? I mean, it's gonna be garbage to start, don't get me wrong, but the idea of like a real ratty car with like a pretty nice interior, I like that. Well, I'll get you set up. We can probably sit right here and watch me in out, smash with a hammer, welding, unhappiness. Mint. So we got this thing smashed and dialed into place, and then just welded in a couple of little patches on the sides, and you can't really see, they were ugly. I mean, just like a 2-inch strip on the inside of the wheel tub that no one's ever gonna see, and we're gonna seam sealed undercoat over anyway. So that's basically done in here, I think. We just need to, I wanna grind that all down. I wanna grind across the back. And everything else I kind of see that I want, then seam seal it. Oh, I gotta weld that brace in. Oh, but I have to seam seal first. Yeah, okay, anyway, so regardless, I want to grind as much as I can, then seam seal, then we can grind that or weld that back together after. I ordered some grinding discs, like flap wheels, off Amazon. They're supposed to be here yesterday, but now they're not here till today. So, whatever. I keep saying I'm gonna take a break, and I'm really not. So, we'll see. Hopefully they'll be here next hour or so. But what I am going to do now, I wasn't going to do it today because I didn't really care. But I'm going to finish off the wheel tubs. Get that all kind of dialed together. Fill in these gaps with some whatever metal we have. And maybe build a little top to this. And then, I don't know, give this a little bit better of a weld. Doesn't have to be super crazy, but make it decent. And really, that would be about it. Now that'll be a decent job though, screwing around with that. You know, making it look kind of decent, because we care about pristine work here at DD Hack Shop. So we'll get that done, and then that can all be 100% seam sealed as well. I was going to leave the back and do it another day, but we're waiting. So do that, wait on grinding discs, get all that dialed, seam seal it, let that sit for a little bit, maybe I'll put a little paint on it, and then it's like carpet in and make it look like something time. Oh, wow, this car is solid. Not bad for, I don't know how long it's been now. Where's my camera stand? So I'm looking for a month and a half, maybe, something like that. I haven't been working on it every day. I've been kind of lazy on it as far as I'm concerned. Well, let's fix up this trunk. Okay, so it's time for a rather simple patch panel. So we're going to use a little bit of cardboard. Get myself a new set of boots. So, got to figure out kind of about the shape of this wheel tub. That's all I really am concerned about. So we're going to go ahead and screw around with this for a little bit until it kind of looks like something. What do I got to do there? Oh yeah. Nice gentle curve. So I can do that. And once this fits up against the wheel tub, it'll just be a nice square patch panel. Oh, I almost nailed it on that one. A little bit more. We'll transfer over some sort of metal that's in the trunk here. Not bad, not bad. Good enough. So now let's square it up. Ish. How far we gotta go? Not very. Honestly, a lot of this we could probably just fill in with gobs of weld, but give you a little. See? So that's what we got to fill in. So we got this little piece here. So I'll just cut that out, that I can tack it, cut across here. We'll knock the piece out the bottom, weld it in, grind it down. Got ourselves a patch panel. Well, it looks a little goofy, but I don't know. What are you going to do? It is what it is. We got our little patch in there, so that's all good. Welded up. A little gappy there. I might put a little weld in there, but really, it is joined underneath. So that's the way these are. Is there's like the floor curves down, the fender curves down, and they're pinch welded. So you got that. The old GoPro is beeping at me like she's hot for some reason. You know. Lady GoPros. Anyway, I will go ahead and do this side real quick. This one, yeah, I'll probably just do that, weld that in. And I think that's kind of it. I'm going to take a break at that point and wait for my grinding discs. Once those are in, then I can like grind everything down, seam seal what I have to, let that sit for an hour or two, maybe get a quick coat of paint. Then it's like carpet, seats, fun stuff. So there you go. keep your old metal. We'll use a few pieces off that before I toss it in the scrap bin. Ah, there we go. Tubs are in. Looks decent. We got seam seal. My grinding disc came. They're on sale. They're 4.5. I thought I got 5s, so whatever. Shawl. China. Anyway. I think try. Anyways. So we got those stored lovingly on the ground. Gonna hop in here. I'm just gonna blaze through the front real quick. Get this line across the back dialed. Again, all of it is kind of irrelevant. It's all gonna be hidden by carpet, but I want to do that. And then I do want to seam seal everything. So I'll get in the corners. Maybe I'll come back when we're seam sealing, because I mean, let's be honest, how much more grinding can you possibly watch a guy do? I'll get that grind down where I'm happy. We'll seam seal the wheel tubs. I don't know how much seam sealer I have. I do want to get the backs done. I want to get across. Well, I guess really how much seam sealing do I even really care about? This thing, it's welded, it's fine. But we'll do a little bit maybe just on the tunnel, because everything else was solid welded. And I gotta seal the tubs 100%. We'll weld that back brace in. I brought the carpet out, it's been sitting inside for a while. Throw that in there, let it kind of relax, do its thing, and yeah. Man, it's a car. It's a car. Okay, so we have everything ground down. Ah, man, this thing looks like a real cart. So now we have our seam sealer. I used to seam seal it crazy, top and bottom, all screwing around, and honestly, I think if I get it from the bottom and undercoat it or whatever I'm gonna do, it'll be just a fine. Oh, if I get some. So we're just gonna kind of obviously seam seal. So put a little in here. I use clear. They make clear, black, and white typically, maybe other colors. I find the clear just, the goosh is better. Now along here I made this kind of funny patch, so we'll give that a good one. I believe this stuff is paintable after a certain amount of time. So my real concern is getting kind of in here. Oh, this stuff's kind of tarry. It's a different brand. Scamazon. Everything's Scamazon. Check that out. Not bad for a butcher, eh? So I just painted everything kind of black, wherever it was that, you know, we kind of took care of. So that's pretty much that. Yeah. The back, I ran out of seam sealer, so you can see kind of where I just went and stopped. And that's the factory. That's what they did. They just jammed it full. So I got to get back here. I'll clean it all up. We'll seam seal, do the corners. Obviously this is doing nothing, and there's a locating pin piece I got to put on there yet, which I have stored on that piece of garbage. I don't know what I'm going to do with the trunk. Tri-5s were, I mean, obviously factory color underneath, but we got to kind of paint what we did, so I don't know if we should paint it black or what, but we'll figure that out tomorrow. Anyway, or on the next video, it's irrelevant at this point. My hair's really crazy. I do want to throw the carpet in here. I know it's probably maybe a little on the early side, but again, from a progress standpoint, it just makes it feel good. So I want to put the carpet in here. I'm going to pull the seats, which I've been storing outside in the snow. So we'll pull those in and let them sit. They are not from a Tri-5 whatsoever. I think they're Ford seats, but they came with it. So, you know, whatever. We'll toss them in there. Nothing's going to be bolted down. Just kind of get a look of what it's going to be, and you know, kind of keep plugging away. At this point now, this thing could be running and driving like down the road in a week if you want to just like absolutely roadkill it, right? Headlights, taillights, wire up the motor. We have a fuel tank we got to put in, and I mean go. Set of gauges, which I do have. I can start putting that stuff in, and I might start just put a gauge cluster in with one screw. I have a column, hang it in there, and then just start working my way. We have the brakes done. Obviously, we got to do master cylinder and plumb them and all that sort of stuff. Lots and lots to do, but you know what? This is a perfect time, well, tomorrow, to take a break from this thing. We'll put the carpet in, put the seats in, we'll put the trunk lid on, we'll clean it all up. We'll see if we can actually want to change the wheels and tires in the front, make sure they're going to clear the headers still, because I do want to run some skinnies on it. We'll see if we can lock the steering so we can go straight forward and back, maybe even push it outside. You know, it's been a pile of work, but this is like a fun, now it's like nut and bolt stuff. So there's no more ugly welding, which I'm tired of. We have to obviously weld the rear end, we're gonna have to weld the transmission mount, the motor mounts aren't permanent, there's exhaust. We're not done welding, but the heavy rust repair, this now is a really good frickin' car. I'm stoked on it. So let's get the carpet and load this sucker up with some junk seats. It's the next day. So we pushed this thing out because it's pretty rank. These are the seats I got with it, so I tossed them in there. It's a Pontiac back seat, and I assume the front is probably the same. I don't know what that little oval-y thing is. But they're
like a speaker?
Yeah, it's probably like late 60s they were doing that. But look at this thing. It's all together, perfect. The doors open and close so nicely, even nicer now with that brace in. Oh, it's like the Nomad, the good Nomad.
Squeak?
The squeak. Oh yeah. Didn't even squeak at all.
Who are you?
So I think I'm going to take a break from this thing for a short amount of time. I feel burnt out on it. We have some parts for the Nomad. I want to get on that. Make that thing run and drive because we're so close to it. And I got burnt out on that. So again, how my brain works. Tired of working on a Tri-5 Chevy, so I'm going to take a break by working on a Tri-5 Chevrolet. But yeah, this thing is like mostly together. Now I can store a bunch of stuff in the trunk. That's always the handy part. Oh yeah, I did the trunk. Whole reason we did this. So I just gave it, I painted all black. I put some like texture spray on it. But honestly, it looks, I don't know, I mean, it looks fine. It looks how it looks. It doesn't look too cobbled together. I'm more than happy with it. And we can fit a giant tire on it. These actually fit a lot better now that I have the fenders and everything all kind of welded nice and solid. I'm pretty sure I'm done welding on this thing, like the big stuff. Obviously there's little things to come, but now we can bring it in, we gotta put fuel tank in, plumb the fuel system, plumb the brake system, because that's all in there, all the hard stuff's done, but the plumbing has to be taken care of. Order some glass for the windshield, put side glass in, and I mean, I think this thing should be, depending on how things go, running, driving by Christmas. So I'm going to take a couple weeks off of it because I want to get that Nomad done. And the Brickland's coming home, hopefully. So there's like all sorts of stuff going on. So we're just trying to get everything so it will run and drive, because we're on like borrowed time. It's December, and there's no snow, hardly any snow, which is shocking. Usually we're struggling big time. So, but yeah. That's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. If you've bought a t-shirt, not this one, but one of the ones that we do sell, thank you so much. And well, it's like I said, thanks for buying the underwear. I don't wear any of those either, but we appreciate the hell out of you guys. Make sure you comment below. Let me know what you think about this hot rod. If you don't mind, subscribe to the channel, and Nomad next. So if you're interested in watching me cry over my savings, that's where I'll be.
In the complete opposite direction.
Yeah, no, I liked it. It's like, we're like, you know, heads and tails. This is the ugly one. Also, I talked to Vice Grip about the clear coat, and he's going to mix me up a special batch. He said it's meant for moss. It's a one-off, so don't be thinking you just get that stuff. Anyways, that's it for now. See you later.